Hey, what's up my people? Alvin here today again for another video. It's been a while since my last long form video, and today I'm going to share with you something that will help you not only understand your brain but will help you master it. So, emotional intelligence. We all have been through hard times. Some get out of them easily and some don't. Let me illustrate this through simple examples. Let's call the first person who gets out of hard times easily Jack, and the other one Jill. Jack and Jill. After a fight with their partner, Jill will tend to get angry for weeks, months, even years. But not Jack. Jack will deal with it within minutes, calm his mind, then go on to solve the problem. Now, let's say Jack and Jill are now working together in a donut factory, and they are both assigned the same task of putting some chocolate coating on the donuts. On a very hot day, they will both experience different levels of stress. Jill will feel overwhelmed for hours even when the task is finished, but not Jack. No, not Jack. Jack will surely be tired and feel some stress like any human being, but he can work under extreme pressure and he knows how to calm himself. When Jill faces failure, he just quit, but Jack will persevere. Jack knows how to put himself in someone else's shoes and understand how they feel. This helps him to win friends and influence a lot of people. However, Jill always talks about himself. Me, and he's lonely.
So lonely, Mr. Lonely.
So, what's the difference between Jack and Jill? Was Jack born with this ability, or has he trained his mind to become this tough? Okay, let's assume that Jack has indeed trained his mind to become that tough. What can we do to be like Jack? Guess what? This is the whole point of this series, and this is part 1. Scientists will classify Jack as someone who has a high EQ. No, not IQ, but EQ. EQ simply stands for emotional quotient. Howard Gardner, an influential Harvard theorist, defines EQ as the level of your ability to understand other people, what motivates them, and how to work in team with them. Zig Ziglar once said, "We are not rational beings, we are emotional beings." And let me add to that. Having control over our emotions is real power. Having high levels of EQ has proven for centuries to be one of the key traits of great leaders or any highly successful people. If someone has a high level of IQ, he will get good grades at school for sure, no doubt about that. But this does not guarantee that he will be prepared for life, unless he has a high EQ. Don't get me wrong though, having a reasonable level of IQ is important. If you're around, let's say 100, it means that you are average and it's kind of enough. I personally value EQ more than IQ. The simple reason is IQ, you are born with it. It is set at birth. Well, you can increase it by doing some brain exercises, but not by much. On the other hand, we have our emotional quotient. And the good news is that we can, by some hard training, increase our EQ level. That's the main aim of this series, to teach you how you can do it for yourself. By the way, Have you heard about Alibaba?
Open sesame!
No, not this one. I'm referring to the company founded by Jack Ma.
Many years ago, I want to change the world. Now, I think if we want to change the world, we change ourselves.
Jack Ma is the perfect living example of someone who has a low IQ but a super high EQ. And thanks to this attribute, he's now worth $43 billion. Go check him out. Alright, now let me share with you the main reason why you should watch this entire series. The first part of this series will focus only on understanding the source of any emotion, and this will be purely based on science, or should I say neuroscience. Plus, as a bonus, I will share with you one main function of the brain which is considered to be either its most terrifying or its most blissful one, depending on how we use it. In our second video, we will dive into the 5 levels of EQ, which will be a more in-depth approach, so stay tuned. And finally, the third one will be the very best, how to increase your EQ. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Well, this is the simplest way to illustrate the main source of any emotion. It's Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is a true genius of the brain, who came out with this theory. So, he said that it all starts with a thought. This thought should lead to a new choice, and this choice will lead to a new behavior, and this behavior will create a new experience, and this new experience right here will create a new emotion. And what's really beautiful is that this emotion right here will attract thoughts similar to the original one, and it's really a beautiful cycle. Well, it will be a beautiful cycle, assuming that it all starts with a positive thought. So let's quickly consider 2 case scenarios just to illustrate this process. Let's say you have a negative thought. Maybe you are in a relationship and you're thinking that he or she is maybe cheating on you. Maybe you don't know if it's true or not. So this negative thought will lead to a new choice. You will decide to have a serious conversation with your partner. This new choice will lead to a new behavior. You will actually go and really talk with your partner. This behavior will create an unpleasant experience, and this unpleasant experience will in turn create anger, frustration, which are negative emotions. And like I said before, this new negative emotion will attract thoughts similar to the original one right here. So if it's a negative one, you will attract other negative thoughts, and this will become a sort of vicious circle, which will eventually lead to depression, divorce. All this started with only a thought. Now let's take a more optimistic approach. You are thinking about your ideal life. You are imagining a life where you are realizing your wildest dreams. You are famous, you are helping others, you are changing the world. Or maybe you are finding a vaccine for the coronavirus. Who knows? It's just a thought process. You don't know if it's true or not. You're just thinking. This thought will lead again to a new choice. Maybe you will decide that it's time to take control back of my life and become the best version of myself. This new choice will lead to a new behavior. where you will actually go sit down, calm yourself, take a pen and a paper and write down anything, all the things you would love to achieve before you die. Your brain will interpret all these as a very pleasant experience, and this pleasant experience will create a new powerful emotion. Again, this is a cycle which goes on and on. This new emotion will attract similar powerful thoughts, and your life will change in a moment just with one fucking thought. Take some time to digest all this information and think about how powerful, how great this is, and this is all pure science. This process reminds me of a quote by Napoleon Hills, the author of a very famous self-development book called Think and Grow Rich. He said in this book that thoughts are things, and their scope of operation is the world itself. The previous illustration is exactly the process by which thoughts become things. And I didn't invent all of that. I'm just sharing Joe Dispenza. Check him out. Now, I'm going to share with you the most beautiful, powerful, and yet most terrifying trait of our brain. Like the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. Get ready. You remember when I gave examples of thought processes previously in this video, I told you repeatedly and intentionally that you don't know whether it's true or not. Whether you were thinking about your partner cheating on you or you were thinking about your ideal life, you didn't know whether it was true or not. It was just a thought. Please listen carefully now. Your brain cannot make the difference between what's real and what is vividly imagined. Let me repeat that one. Your brain cannot make the difference between what's real and what is vividly imagined in here. The reason this is so powerful is because our brain is the only system, if you want, that connects us with the physical world. So, if the only system that can connect us to the physical world, to the physical reality, cannot distinguish between what's real out there and what is vividly imagined in here, how powerful it is, and what are the consequences. If you think something negative, which will eventually lead to negative emotion, your brain will believe that it is true without any need for evidence. That, my friend, is called fear. And the exact opposite of it is called faith. That is, believing that something beautiful will happen in your life without any evidence of it happening yet. And what happens here is you will be living in advance in either a negative or a positive future. You choose. Therefore, being emotionally intelligent is your ability to control that thought process and input any thought that you want. That is how you will create any kind of life that you guys want. This is no Christopher Nolan movie.
We create the world of the dream.
This ain't Inception or anything else. This is pure science. And you can do this no matter how old you are. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, which is simply the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. However, it's true that it tends to get more and more difficult to rewire your brain as you get older, but it's always possible. Anything is possible. Go and ask Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. He started his company at 65 years old and he died a fucking billionaire. It's never too late to become who you might have been. Let me repeat this one. It's never too late to become who you might have been. Change is always possible. It all starts here. So, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching till the end. It really just shows how committed you are. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment below, and don't forget to like this video. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be on the 5 levels of EQ. See you soon. Bye.